Hey there, toy collector friends and Battlestar Galactica fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the time-traveling toy collector, and this is the Hero Collector Eagle Moss Battlestar Galactica toy, model collection. Their official Starships collection. One of the centerpieces, it is the modern Battlestar Galactica. Yes, it is the flagship Galactica from the rebooted version of the classic sci-fi epic series Battlestar Galactica. This has for me been super hard to get hold of. Some of you will be very aware of this. I've tried for a very long time to get hold of any of the Battlestar Galacticas that they produced. Done okay with their other ships, but this was a real challenge given the current circumstances surrounding Eagle Moss and Hero Collector and the uncertainty around whether or not we'll be able to access any of models in the future, and indeed their existing pre-orders. I feel very blessed and lucky to have been able to capture this particular vessel and this particular model before Eagle Moss disappeared. I was at a convention recently. It was the London Film and Comic Con convention a couple of months ago, and they actually had the classic Battlestar Galactica Eagle Moss model, and they had it at a price point I wasn't in the first instance prepared to pay, and I did that really annoying thing that I told myself, well, if it's still there at the end of the day, I'm going to get it. I just committed mentally to it. I thought, well, actually, if it's still there at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's 30-40 pounds, UK pounds above the price point that Eagle Moss would charge for it. But if it is now going to be discontinued, or it's going to be out, they're not going to get any more stock, then actually that might not be the bad investment it felt like at first glance, which really stuck in my throat. It had gone, so I missed out on that, so I'm continuing my ragtag search for a classic Galactica model at an appropriate price. However, I am very, very pleased to have in hand the modern Galactica from that rebooted show. And as you can see there, it's a really long piece. It's very well done. The surface detailing is excellent. I will get it up and in hand in a moment. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to have a real good look at it. I'm going to zoom in slightly now so you can get a chance to see some of that detailing across its primary hull. So we do have this front section here, and these bays along the side, which are reminiscent, I suppose, of Starship Enterprise nacelles standard Starfleet design. Of course, it's a completely different universe. I just want to dip down slightly so you can see the front of the ship as it comes past us. You can see it has some protuberances there. The rugged ribbed detailing across the whole of the ship is really phenomenal. You can see the detailing of the Galactica there, and again this side Galactica is stenciled into those. I want to call them nacelles. They're not nacelles. They are the launch tubes for the Vipers. I love the red detailing, slightly faded as the ship is in itself. Although modern, it is still it's recounting a darker time in the colonial battles against the Cylons. So it is the modern iteration of the ship, but it's still a historical piece. The Blood and Chrome series, as I recall, produced a more gleaming version of the Battlestar Galactica, and maybe we'll get a chance to look at that at one point in the future. You can see without me even picking it up the quality of the detailing here. You can really see it. There's the colonial symbol on the top of the ship. You can see the lovely detailing in the side there. The rear thrust is excellent. I'm just going to level it up a bit so you can get the front there, and then I'm going to move along the side and then come in so you can see those major thrusters there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pan out slightly. We're going to stop this, and I'm going to get the ship in hand so that you can have a closer look. I'm going to leave that stand there. Again, it's a nice stand. It holds the ship really well. I think one of the surprising things for me is how light this is. It is a very long ship, but in terms of the quality build, I think it's okay. But it does lack some of that heft that some of the other ships that I've had from Hero Collector and Eagle Moss have in terms of the weight behind them. So here you can see the sort of classic Battlestar outline. You've got those launch pods either side for the Vipers to zoom out. You can see those surface cannons for front and rear defense. That beautiful surface detailing there across the ship. You can see that again along the side. Let me just get some light in there. It's really well done. You can see all the way along there the beautiful detailing of that vessel. You can see just inside there, it's hard to get the light in those darker areas, but you can see within there some of that detailing for sure. It's really well done. And again, coming around to that front section, you know, there is something to be said for that shadow. If I get the whole thing over, you can see there's more gun in place turrets there, molded into the dorsal area. Another protuberance there. There's nowhere on this mold that's been neglected in terms of surface detailing. Again, more rear facing turrets there. Some of the turbine elements that go into that massive engine array. Let's turn the ship around so we can get a look at that rear aspect. So you can see the back of those pods, the launch bays there, and then we have this fanned out version. There's not much to see within the engines themselves. They're not sort of painted to be particularly inflamed or carbonated from excessive use. There's not carbon scoring, for example, but the detailing is just really, for me, I think it's really beautiful. And again, you have the red stripes of the colonial symbols really visible along the underside. And we'll come back up on this side. You can see that it's quite a close mirror. It's asymmetrical, as you can see. We don't have this on both sides. It's very deliberately asymmetrical, but it really is a splendid and beautiful piece. So I hope you can really see all of that and a chance to really appreciate the work that's got into the design of this and the realization. Again, I would probably say that you can get a real sense that it's not, for all that it's a broad and lengthy ship, and it definitely is a broad and lengthy ship, there's no two ways about it, it's quite lightweight, which is in some respects not a bad thing, because you kind of have a degree. For me, I feel very safe putting it on the stand. Some of the other ships that Battlestar Galactica range, and indeed Eagle Moss in general, produce, where they have some significant die cast in the mix, can make the ships a bit heavy and their centre of gravity can be a bit off, which means when it comes to displaying them on the stand, you have a little sense of discomfort. You think, oh, it's going to tip over forwards, it's going to tip over backwards, it's not going to hold it. I don't have that concern here. I'm sure that base stand is more than capable of supporting the weight of this ship. So that, for me, is a real positive. But I am very mindful that it also probably would mean that, like with many of their display models, because I know I sort of referred to it as a toy at the top. It's not a toy, it's a display model, and you can use it for photography, and I'll insert some shots along the back end of the video as I usually do. But it is, you know, it's not for play. It certainly isn't for sort of any sort of robust play. This is a display model and will serve you best as exactly that, as a display model. So I think robust play would probably see it suffer quite significantly, which we of course would not want to happen, because they're quite, you know, these are not cheap. And now, in the absence of, or the apparent absence of, any future releases, or indeed any future sales from Hero Collector and Eagle Moss, it's probably ever more collectible. As with their products, it does come with a Battlestar Galactica little collector's booklet with some lovely interior information, how to apply the stand in case we can't work that out. Lots of elevations of the ship itself, so you get a chance to sort of really see it in situ. Some nice background to the story. As ever, I'm not going to go through everything in here, because if you want to check it out, my advice is to try and pick one of these up. But yeah, really informative, very, very good. I think what adds to the value for money for these ships is where you do get a detail magazine that gives you something that you wouldn't get elsewhere. So for me, I love this ship. It's been a labour of love tracking it down, along with some of the other Battlestar Galacticas. That is now going to move, I think, from a labour of love to a Holy Grail scenario, because I think the classic, I really, really want to get my hands on the classic Galactica model, so I will be keeping my eyes out at any and all conventions that I'm at. So if anyone's watching this and you have a stall and you sell Eagle Moss, you have any of the Eagle Moss Battlestar Galactica ships, not exclusively but particularly the classic Galactica, do please reach out to me. I may be interested if you're not scalping, and I'm sure you wouldn't be scalping, would you? So if you're not scalping, I will happily consider reasonable charges and costs. So do drop me a message, either here in the comments below or via my Instagram page, the Time Traveling Toy Collector, and we'll talk, because that would be great. I really would like to add the classic to my collection. So when I ask my usual question of does the modern Galactica have a place in your collection, you kind of know what I think. It absolutely does. I think it's a beautiful ship. I think the quality of the detailing is great. It has quite sparse decals and paint applications, so I'm hoping that isn't something people see as a negative, because it is quite in keeping with the starkness of its battle cruiser appearance in the show. I for one don't have anything to critique about that. Others who perhaps are more infinitely familiar with lighting, etc., might say, well, they could have done with some additional lighting apps or paint apps that represent lights. I personally think it gives us a bleak dreadnought type of ship, which is exactly for me what the Battlestar needs to represent. I love it. I think I'm really chuffed that I managed to track it down. I'm disappointed, of course, with where we are currently with Eagle Moss and Hero Collector. Of course, we're kind of in a nowhere with them, because we still don't have anything official that I've seen. So I keep my fingers crossed that there will be a resolution to that, and products will be forthcoming. Anyway, all it remains for me to say is thank you for staying here for the last 10 or so minutes. I hope you found this interesting. I hope that if you are somebody who has an interest in the Battlestar Galactica models from Eagle Moss, or indeed any of the models from Eagle Moss, you have every success in trying to track down any gaps you have in your collection currently. If you do think that this video has helped make your mind up about whether or not you would like to pursue your own copy of the modern Galactica, then please do smash that like button, and whilst you're there, why not also subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, That way you will never miss an upcoming video around Battlestar Galactica ships, or indeed Star Trek ships, or Doctor Who, or Transformers, or Star Wars, or G.I. Joe, or whatever you might be interested in watching. Who knows what will crop up down the line. There's quite a few, I think, quite interesting things in the pipeline, new and old, so hopefully you'll join me for that. Well, I'm just so pleased to have this in my collection, I can't tell you. Anyway, I'm gonna retire now to enjoy my Battlestar Galactica and put it in my display somehow. I very much thank you for being a fantastic audience. Thank you for staying with me. I hope to see you in a future video. Just remains for me to say, do please remember that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. So say we all. Bye-bye for now.